One of the very important improvements is OpenSea has upgraded to a new Seaport contract version, and the new NFT Butler version is now using the latest Seaport contract, the latest OpenSea API updates, and due to this reason, we have significantly increased the bidding speed. So what we can see here, usually on average, it takes 3 seconds now for a bid. Sometimes it can take 4, but most of the time it takes 3, sometimes even 2 seconds. Here we had 4. So really, average bidding speed is now per bid 3 seconds. You can have a maximum of 5 token bidding tasks, so each of them running about 1200 bids per hour. And you can also run on top of that up to 100 collection bidding tasks, and the instant counter bidding task is basically part of the token bidding tasks. And very important, the last update it already reduced the fees on OpenSea for all your bids to 0.5% on CTOs, and we have now integrated the same thing for token bids, since we were switching from the OpenSea SDK to the OpenSea API and the latest Seaport contract. We are now sending all the token bids with the minimum fees required. So if someone is accepting a bid from your butler, he can reduce the fees. So last AMA, we spoke a lot about UI improvements and quality of life improvements. And one of the topics which was coming up quite a lot already since months is you're losing the state of your pages. So that was the case before. Now we will remember everything you do anywhere in Butler. So if you're filtering here for my account 2 wallet, and I only want to see my highest bidding tasks, I go back somewhere else and I come back here. It's basically all the same. So you will always get the same screen when switching between pages. This is even true for the search engine. So I drill down here into this owls collection. I see all the trades. Now I maybe want to check a token task here, and I come back. It has to load again just to update all the latest data, but you will always be where you were the last time. Also, if you add filters here, so let's say I only want to find collections between 0.1 and 1 if floor price with a minimum of at least 100 sold items, and I want to sort it by profit margin, collection age, so it should be at least 30 days. So if I go somewhere else and if I come back, everything is still there. And I added some icons on the page topics here. So with this icon here, you will reset all the filters. We also have one of these on the collection task engine, and I made it a little bit bigger. If you hit this button here, you will basically refresh all the statistics of all the collections. As long as you stay on this page, it will not update it. But if you hit this refresh button, it will basically pull the latest highest bids, min and max bid price, profit margin, and all this stuff. And we also introduced another button here, which was also requested by the community. So if I reset all of my bids on OpenSea, we have no chance to see all your bids were cancelled in the meantime, because only OpenSea knows which bids are still valid and which are not, because they are stored in their database offline. And we could only query it with a lot of API requests, which would be very resource intensive to do this for 7,000 bids. So once you cancel all your bids on OpenSea, you can basically just simply, let me do this here, hit this reset stats button here, and it will basically delete all the active bids from our backend. Okay, now it works. Okay, cool. So yes, so if you reset all your bids on OpenSea and you want to also reset Butler to reflect your new active bids afterwards, just come here, delete all active bids, and Butler will start recording it freshly on this wallet basically. And you can do it on a it's on a per wallet basis, right? So every wallet can be reset individually. Then we are introducing favorite systems. So on every collection you do now have a favorite button where you can click, and so this will make it a favorite of yours. You can also remove it, of course. And when adding it here, you have a new collection filter here. Let me just delete that one. So you can either say I want to see all collections, I want to see my favorites only, which will bring up all your favorites. You can still manage it from here, add and remove them. And other thing, we had a lot of discussions or a lot of user feedback, what should be your default task configuration. And we voted, right? So we voted basically what should be the default task configuration for everyone, and that's what we incorporated. So since not everyone has the same default configuration options, or it's not for everyone, it's the same what they like, we have integrated these save buttons here. So for now we have it on 4 fields, I think. Here on CTOs only on 3, and we can add it on more fields, of course, but for now you can decide which one should be my default. I will take one where I don't have an active task. So you can see my account 2 wallet is my default wallet. My default outbidding strategy is smart outbidding, and my default validity time for CTOs is 15 minutes. Of course, you can still change it, right? So you can say, okay, for this one, I want to do 120. You can see this is not blue anymore, so this is not your default value. And whenever you want to override your default value, you can simply just change your input fields here and hit the save button, which will make it your default. So now I put account 4 as my default. When I open a new task here, it's automatically choosing my account 4. Yes, and so if I choose account 4, it's also going to be my default for token bidding tasks. Only the validity of the bid can be saved individually for token bidding tasks and CTOs. We do now support trades which are having a min-max setting. So this trade here, grass 340, is not a usual trade like an attribute here. It's a trade where you can set minimum and maximum values. And we do not fully support, you can set, I want to bid on all tokens between 100 and 200, because this is also not supported by the OpenSea API, but the OpenSea API did not support trade bidding on these minimax trades at all until like a week ago. Once we reported maybe a month or 2 ago, and now OpenSea has fixed this, and we were able to integrate the fix on our side as well, so you can now also create CTOs on this kind of trade. Okay, so you can see a lot of pro icons here. So we are now talking about the pro membership. With this release, we are introducing a new subscription, which is really quality of life features. So everything I showed is available to everyone, and the pro subscription does basically provide additional quality of life features for really the pro members who are, working with Butler since months and would like to have some more slight advantage. So one of these features is the flexible counterbidding speed. I think it's one of the best features. So if you're not a pro member, you can still use the instant counterbidding engine with 1 task slot. This will, send about 1,000 to 1,200 counterbids per hour, and you're fine. So this is the basic option, and as long as you're only using counterbidding on a lot of CTOs and maybe a few token bidding tasks, this is going to be all fine. But with the Pro, and also this uses one task slot here, right? So I can now run 4 token bidding tasks since my instant counter bidding engine is using one slot here. But with the Pro feature, you can actually scale it up to 2 or 3 task slots even. Since I scale up to 3, one of my token bidding tasks has to be moved. So this is now hardcore mode, and you can send counter bids to a maximum of about 3,600 counter bids per hour. So this is really if you want to compete on very competitive token bids on the market, where a lot of bidding is going on. In general, I would always recommend to use smart outbidding when doing a lot of competitive counter bids. So yes, so you now have the option to basically, send token bits on with a long validity time and just defend others outbidding you with this hardcore counter bidding speed. Also very important, if you scale it to 3 task slots, by default, it will just use the task config wallets. So when the engine is counter bidding on my Genesis UFOs here, where do we have the UFOs? It will basically use my account 2 wallet. If I'm running at the same time another 2 token bidding tasks on my account 2 wallet, you're gonna get rate limited, because in the end you can still not run more than 3 token bidding tasks on the same wallet, and each of those slots is like a token bidding task from a throughput perspective. So that's why we had to add an option to use a dedicated instant counter bidding wallet, which I usually use account 6, just to ensure your token bidding tasks can still run normally using their slots on a per wallet basis, and you can use a dedicated wallet for all your counter bids. And the hardcore mode with 3 task slots is really using this wallet up to its maximum. So with those 3,500 counter bids per hour, this wallet should not be used in any other tasks. Otherwise you will run into rate limits again, or maybe some CTOs only. And right now, I mean, it's scaled to 3, but I don't have enough jobs in the queue to really make use of this huge speed, right? So once you go full speed here, please make sure to, put proper settings for your wallets. Otherwise, you're just going to be rate limited within seconds. This is now really a Gatling gun, right? So sometimes, I usually use it with 2 slots, just to be very fast in counter bidding and making sure my queue will not grow as much. You can also use it at 1 slot with the Pro feature, and if you see your queue is going up to maybe 100 or 200 counter bids queued, then you can just scale it to 3, and we have also coded it will basically start more workers to do the counter bids, and it will also rebalance those 200 instant counter bidding jobs in the queue to make sure you can work it down as quickly as possible.
Maybe one side note, if these maximum task settings and maximum wallet settings are confusing you a little bit, on the Gitbook page for the Pro feature, I added a few settings that work for sure. So if you don't want to think, just make sure that you use one of these settings.
Yes, thank you so much, Dave. You have just put together a beautiful Gitbook page here. So if you guys want to learn more about the Pro access and also the counter bidding speed feature, everything is described here. Awesome. Also, something I wanted to explain again in this AMA here about counter bidding, because we got a lot of requests and tickets about this, is the ignore max active bids on CTOs. So if you're running collection tasks or CTOs, so by default, maximum active bids on collection tasks is set to 3. And this means this collection task will skip any further bids if you already have 3 active bids active on this collection. And this is a safety feature since you maybe don't want to expose too much liquidity on the entire collection, because in case of a huge sell-off event and the whale is selling a lot of his NFTs on a collection, you will end up buying a lot of them if you have more active bids. It's not such a big problem to have, to not set max active bids on a trade task, because usually on trades you're much more safe, because it's very unlikely someone has multiple gold NFTs, and even if they have, you are willing to take more of these around this bidding price, because you will make profit with this trade, right? So here also by default the max active bids is not enabled. You can still set it, of course, but it's not by default. Now, when you're so let's say you're bidding on a very competitive collection with collection bids, and you have this max active bids set to 3, and you get instant counterbidding jobs by default. The instant counterbidding will also take into account how much active bids do you already have on this collection. So by default, it will stop counterbidding once you have 3 active bids on the entire collection, just to ensure you're not exposing more liquidity on the entire collection. But you can override this. So if it's more important for you to always stay on top, then you can enable this one here. It will only counterbids will ignore your max active bid settings, but you will stay on top. When running the regular collection task, it will still take the max active bids settings into account. So once this is running, it will still, stop if there is at least 1 active bid. Just the instant counterbidding engine will ignore it. Yeah. So this is just because we had support cases where some people were asking, why is my counterbidding not working? Someone else bid, I didn't counterbid, and usually it was a matter of checking the logs and then seeing, the counterbidding event here was stopped by too many active bids. Maybe also important here, you can search the logs of the instant counterbidding engine here in recent events, and you can search by collection, token ID, or trade. So I can search by token ID, right? So I see this one. I can also search. I had, imposter, right? So now I see everything related to the imposter collection. Or you can also search by trade task. So now you would see all the trade task counterbids. So and we also added a lot of improvements here. So once you're hovering with your mouse over this log modal here, the log will stop, going down. So you can really watch and look at what you searched. And once you go off and delete this thing, you will see the logs moving again, basically, when jobs are added. So yes, so if you're interested in what was happening on a certain token or trade task, you can search here and you will find the latest jobs. Also important, you will not find the entire history. So once I receive another outbid event for this Pablo's LOL rainbows colors, it will basically remove this job and add it again and process it from scratch. So what you see here is basically the latest counterbid event for each trade task, collection task, or token bidding job. Awesome. Then what else do we have in the Pro package? Let me open it here again. So next thing is max tasks without NFT Butler in OS username. So we got this request also from some of our community members. In order to unlock the maximum number of tasks in NFT Butler, which is up to 100 collection tasks running and up to 5 token tasks running, since I used 2 instant counterbidding slots here, only 3 left. But in order to do this, you had to set NFT Butler in all your wallets as OpenSea username, which are used in Butler. And the Pro package will basically remove this requirement, so you can set any OpenSea username you want and still use the maximum number of tasks. Yes, so it's golden right now here. I can also show you how it looks if you do not have the Pro subscription. You will basically just see the green and orange colors here on your wallet, indicating if you're using the Butler name or not. And feature number 3 is private collection indexes. This is also an old request from the community. So when you add a collection in our Discord bot, let me just bring this up. Community bot here. So our community bot is used to add collections to our index engine. As you can see, you can add with collections lock. This is not mandatory. And if the collection fulfills the following requirements, it will be added to our database, it will be scanned, and then after 30 to 60 minutes, it will be available in the search engine of NFT Butler. Collections do need to have a minimum floor price of 0.02 ETH. Total supply needs to be more than 20 and less than 100,000. Total volume is at least 20 ETH. At least 20 sales have been done on this collection, and at least 5 sales happened in the last 30 days. So far, if you added a collection, it was available to everyone. And some people were feeling if they add collections, everyone will jump on them because people can see new collections are being added. So if you're adding a collection now as a Pro member, it will be indexed for you only. And if someone else, another Pro member, indexes this collection, it will be shown to him as well. But it doesn't need to be indexed again, right? It's already indexed. So now 2 Pro members will see this collection. And you can see this collection is currently only indexed for me and Dave. We used this as a test case. You guys can try this actually. If someone goes add and then this collections lock in our community bot, which do not have a Pro subscription, so if anyone wants to do it, you can do it, then it will be opened to public. So as soon as someone is adding a collection which is only private indexed so far and it doesn't have a Pro subscription, it will then be made public. You can also see this. So I tested it with owls here. So this was initially private indexed, but it lost the gold border right now because I was also adding it with an account which does not have the Pro subscription. So now it's public to everyone. I'm not too sure, how long these collections will stay private indexed. And of course, you don't have to index collections at all, right? You can still create a manual bidding task by just providing the collections lock and optionally the smart contract address and the token IDs, and then you don't have to add collections to our search engine at all, and you can use them. But this is just another way of how you can keep collections private for some time at least.
Benny, can I ask a question about this?
Sure, yes.
So that does mean, so I just tried what you said, and that does mean, let's say, if a Pro member adds, for instance, I don't know, a new collection that just came out, then if I don't have the Pro membership, I'm not able to add or see this collection at all.
You're not able to see it, but once, someone has added it now, right? Which is not a pro member. So now the golden border is lost. You can still add it if you're not a pro member, and you will make it public, basically. So now it can be seen by everyone. It's not private to me and Dave anymore. Cool. And most important feature for the pro is support the team. This helps us a lot to grow, expand our revenue stream, and you're supporting the team with this. Cool. So I think this is the most important point. Let me just check. Yes. So I think this is the most important improvements which are bundled up here in this release. Let's end the recording. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Looking forward to this release so much, and we are now going into the question round.